penalties if local authorities don't crack down on protesters.
Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled.
And outrage is growing after U.S. Park and Secret Service police fired tear gas and rubber bullets into a crowd of peaceful demonstrators near the White House, clearing the way for the president's photo op in front of historic St. John's Episcopal Church. The bishop overseeing that church speaks out this morning live on GMA.
Overnight, after many thousands protest peacefully during the day, chaos once again after dark. In Seattle, riots breaking out after hours of peaceful protest. In St. Louis, a crowd storming police headquarters, 4 officers shot. A terrifying scene in Buffalo, 2 officers injured after an SUV plows into them. Looting up and down New York City's Fifth Avenue.
Officers!
Our reporter on the scene when mayhem broke loose. And new questions this morning about whether so-called professional agitators have infiltrated the peaceful protests.
A big development in the investigation of George Floyd's death. The dueling details in 2 separate autopsies ruling it a homicide. His family now calling for the arrest of the other 3 officers on the scene.
Come on,
as his grief-stricken brother visits the makeshift memorial for George.
What are y'all doing? Y'all doing nothing, because that's not gonna bring my brother back at all.
Making a plea to end the violence and destruction. The Attorney General of Minnesota, in charge of the prosecution of those officers, is live only on GMA this morning.
Protesting in the pandemic. The new study showing just how effective distancing and masks can be, as health officials warn demonstrators, saying the coronavirus is probably marching with them. What you can do to protect yourself right now.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America, thank you for joining us this Tuesday morning after another extraordinary night across America. Robin, this country is pulsing with anger, fear, and cries for justice.
It certainly is, George. But look at this at the Empire State Building going dark last night, and it was to honor George Floyd. It was also to recognize injustice in all its forms and urge calm in the city, Amy.
And Robin, I know many of the protests were peaceful right outside our studio here in Times Square. You can see roses still there out on the plaza, 10,000 of them. The red symbolizing the anger, the white roses for hope that change will finally come. They say together the flowers represent the love that can help us to hear each other and heal each other.
That is the hope we all share, and we have so much to get to this morning. We're going to begin at the White House, where President Trump spoke out for the first time from the Rose Garden, vowing to send U.S. troops into the streets of American cities if local authorities don't control the protests. Those remarks came just moments after the administration asked police to clear peaceful protesters from the park across the White House so the president could stage a photo op. Cecilia Vega starts us off from that site, St. John Episcopal Church. Good morning, Cecilia.
Yeah, George, good morning to you. This was, as you said, that backdrop for that photo op. And now in the face of all of this controversy, the White House is saying that those authorities moved in on those peaceful protesters in order to enforce Washington, D.C. 7 p.m. curfew. But let me tell you what the reality was. Those U.S. Park Police, those Secret Service police moved in on those peaceful protesters a full 25 minutes before that curfew was supposed to even start. And they cleared the way. And then President Trump showed up right here for that photo op. Outside the White House, protesters facing off against authorities, kneeling and raising their hands in peaceful demonstration. But then, almost suddenly, U.S. Park and Secret Service police began shoving and hitting, striking this Australian news crew as they were live on the air.
Oh.
Whoa!
And as police move in, they fire tear gas on the crowd. While inside the grounds of the White House, a remarkable split screen. The president claiming to be an ally of peaceful protesters.
I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
President Trump called on governors to deploy the National Guard, threatening to dispatch active duty U.S. military to American states if they don't crack down. But to do that, he would have to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807, a rarely used law that hasn't been enacted since the Rodney King riots in the 1990s.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
And in Washington, D.C., where the president has jurisdiction, President Trump acting with force.
As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
And then, in a made-for-reality TV primetime moment, the president and his entourage left the White House and walked through that park where protesters had been cleared moments earlier. He went to historic St. John's Episcopal Church, which had been burned in a fire during protests a night earlier. There, the president held up a Bible for the cameras.
Is that your Bible?
It's a Bible.
Standing in various poses for a full minute and a half. He then summoned his top aides to join him in the photo op.
Okay, thank you very much. We have the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much, everybody.
In Delaware, presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden paid a very different visit to a place of worship, meeting with community leaders at Bethel AME Church in Wilmington.
Hate just hides. Doesn't go away. And when you have somebody in power who breathes oxygen to hate under the rocks, it comes out through the rocks.
The remarkable scene in D.C. followed a remarkable conference call earlier in the day where the president berated governors of both parties.
If they're going to run over you, you're going to look like a bunch of jerks. You have to arrest people and you have to try people, and they have to go to jail for long periods of time.
On the call, Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker criticizing President Trump's rhetoric.
I've been extraordinarily concerned about the rhetoric that's been used by you. People are feeling real pain out there. And we've got to have national leadership in calling for calm and making sure that we're addressing the concerns of the legitimate peaceful protesters. That will help us to bring order.
Now, this church carries significant history in this city, in this country. Every sitting president since James Madison, including President Trump, has attended a church service here. But we are now being told by sources that the president was at least in part motivated to come here, George, for that photo op yesterday to counter those reports that he had been in the White House bunker during the protests here on Friday.
Okay, Cecilia, thanks very much. We are joined now by the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, Marian Edgar Buddy. Bishop Buddy, thank you for joining us this morning. I first heard you last night as this situation was unfolding, and your anger and anguish were so visceral. Explain why this is so painful for you.
Well, first of all, this is an excruciating moment, a crisis moment in our country where we need healing, where we need reconciliation, and we need justice. And the president, after speaking the remarks that you summarized and clearing with tear gas and riot-geared police the park and the courtyard of our church, stood in front of St. John's and held up a Bible as if it were spiritual validation and justification for a message that is antithetical to the teachings of Jesus and to the God of justice. And so I felt in no uncertain terms that I had to disassociate us from that symbolic gesture and to speak a word of justice and peace to the nation.
Did you have any notice that the president was going to be doing this?
No. I was sitting watching the news with my mother when I saw what everyone else saw.
And we all know the church was damaged on Sunday night, I believe. Yeah. How badly?
Yeah. Someone broke a window of a basement and threw in a fire lighter, and so one room was burned, and then, thanks to the first responders, quickly extinguished.
As Cecilia said, St. John's is the church of presidents. Every president since James Madison has gone there. Is President Trump still welcome there?
He's welcome as anyone is welcome to pray. The presidents are welcome as citizens of this country to pray alongside fellow citizens, to kneel before God in humility and to rededicate themselves to the task to which they've been elected. In that posture, he and any president is welcome, but he is not entitled to use the spiritual symbolism of our sacred spaces and our sacred texts to promote or to justify a entirely different message.
And if President Trump did come to that church and you had the chance to preach to him from the pulpit, what message would you give him about this crisis in America?
I would give him the same message I would give to all of us, that we have to look deep. We have to go to the root causes of the pain that we are witnessing. We have to keep our focus on the sacredness of every human life and the outrage and anguish that we are hearing from so many of our nation's young people and people of color. And we need to align ourselves, all of us, with the God of unconditional love and justice.
Bishop Budde, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
Robin?
We really do thank the bishop for her message there. Now to more of the protests that are sweeping the nation. Many of them were peaceful. We have to keep that in mind. They were peaceful during the day, but chaos did break out after dark in many cities across the country. Eva Pilgrim joins us now from Minneapolis with the very latest. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, you can see the destruction here behind me, but I want to show you what was painted on this building, this mural that was here before all this. It says, "Stop Violence," and that is the call from so many this morning. Overnight, protests from coast to coast, the 7th night of protests following the death of George Floyd. In St. Louis, a night of destruction, buildings on fire, 4 police officers shot during a face-off with a late-night crowd trying to storm police headquarters.
Some coward fired shots at officers, and now we have 4 in the hospital. But thankfully, and thank God, they're alive.
Riots breaking out in Seattle after hours of peaceful protesting. The crowd trying to break through barricades, pushing toward a police precinct, throwing rocks, bottles, and fireworks at cops. In Las Vegas, an officer shot in the head overnight right on the Vegas Strip near Circus Circus. Another shot downtown near the federal courthouse. In Buffalo, a terrifying scene after 2 officers were hit by a vehicle at the scene of a protest, leaving at least 1 in serious condition. Officials saying the driver was not deliberately targeting law enforcement. In New York City, thousands marched down the streets in a largely peaceful protest. The highest-ranking uniformed member of the NYPD taking a knee with those gathered in Washington Square Park.
Let New York show the country how this is done.
But looting attempts began later in the night as Governor Cuomo's newly announced 11 p.m. citywide curfew approached. Mayhem breaking out on 5th Avenue as our Stephanie Ramos reported live.
Things are getting wild here at Rockefeller Center here in New York City. It's bad. We're feeding in live.
And overnight, the mother of David McAtee, a Louisville barbecue owner, shot dead by law enforcement trying to enforce curfew during protests, speaking out.
When a mother lose a child, piece of you goes along right with that child.
An investigation into the situation revealed the officers involved did not have their body cameras activated when the shooting occurred. The city's mayor lashing out.
This type of institutional failure will not be tolerated.
Earlier in the day, across the country, thousands peacefully marching, many determined to stay focused and have their voices and messages heard. Many pointing out that they are not the ones damaging property and that the fires and destruction are taking away from their message of change.
I don't agree with all of the foolishness that's been going on, but this is years and generations and decades and centuries of compounded racism, and it's like, how much can we take?
Many police and protesters trying to come together. One member of the Minnesota National Guard kneeling outside with protesters, even embracing with some of those gathered outside afterwards. In Denver, hundreds of volunteers picking up trash and washing away graffiti from the previous day's protests. The police chief seen wiping away tears. He tells us that while the damage done to his city hurt him, he made a commitment to a young black protester to march with him and others.
I committed to Neil that I would march with him, I would stand with him, and I would do the hard work with him moving forward, because this is not acceptable.
And overnight, we saw several members of a community watch. This neighborhood has organized. They are walking the streets through all hours of the night in shift to make sure that these fires aren't reset and that more businesses
aren't destroyed. Amy?
All right, Eva, thank you so much. And as we've reported, while a majority of these protests and protesters were peaceful, some may be using this situation to their advantage, sparking violence. This morning, we are learning more about some arrests and possible coordination of attacks. TJ Holmes joins us with more on that. Good morning, TJ.
Protect black life, Robach. That's supposed to be the message. But first, got to go protect Target, CVS, and my local grocery store. Peaceful protesters are pulling double duty these days, taking it upon themselves to try to cut down on some of that destruction. But police now say they are up against some organized efforts. Who's who? Thousands on the streets, most want to be heard. Others only want to wreak havoc, smashing windows, looting, starting fires. And police say many of these aren't random, but well-organized acts.
But people who came to do violence in a systematic, organized fashion, that is a different reality we need to grapple with.
Allegedly among them, Aruj Rahman and Collinford Mattis, the two arrested in New York, charged with tossing Molotov cocktails at a police vehicle. Police have dubbed them professional agitators. And according to court records, both defendants are licensed attorneys who have attended prestigious universities and law schools. A third defendant, Samantha Shader, is facing the same charge, seen here actively hurling a bottle. Police say she has been arrested 11 times in 11 states for acts of violence and resisting arrest. More than 5,000 people have been arrested in the past week of protests. Authorities say in some cases these small groups attack police officers while standing behind peaceful protesters, using them as human shields. The destructive actions seen across the country discredit the calls for justice in the wake of the killing of George Floyd. Peaceful protesters have taken it upon themselves to prevent rioting. Miami, protesters were honored for forming a human chain to protect a CVS when others tried to break into the store Sunday night.
This movement is made up of young people like myself who are starving for the world that our parents, grandparents, and forefathers promised us.
D.C., a group handed over a man trying to incite violence. Now a reckoning as protesters hoping their message of change isn't lost amid those trying to steal it.
This is about empowerment. This is about movement. This is about black lives.
And Kona I was talking to, that was part of a group, took it upon themselves to buy bottles of water and masks and hand them out. And George and Robach, she says she's concerned now that their message is getting lost. Nobody's listening. And wasn't that the problem in the first place, guys?
That is a big danger. Okay, TJ, thanks very much. We are following a lot of other stories this morning. Coming up, we're going to have the dueling details coming from two separate autopsies that both ruled George Floyd's death as a homicide. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, who is now in charge of the prosecution, is going to join us live here on GMA.
And then two crises colliding, protests and the pandemic, the growing health concerns about these large gatherings across the country. But first, we'll head over to Ginger.
And a growing concern for dangerous thunderstorms tonight, southeastern Minnesota, Wisconsin. I need anyone from Madison to Milwaukee, back to Mankato and Rochester to be on alert. You could see 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some large hail, even an isolated tornado. Tomorrow, that threat sinks south, and it expands really far from Delaware, Maryland, and New Jersey back into Rapid City, South Dakota, and even Nebraska. Let's get to the Tuesday trivia now, sponsored by State Farm.
And we've upgraded her with the Sonic Shield and holographic mapping drones.
Impressive.
There is one more thing.
Jake from State Farm.
Here's the deal. With the Drive Safe and Save app, you'll save up to 30% for being a safe driver and get a discount just for signing up.
Well played, Jake from State Farm. As usual.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Gray skies for early morning, just past lunchtime today, and we could even have a little sprinkle or a light shower coming through. 80 degrees the high temperature, a little bit afternoon sunshine, and more sunshine tomorrow that'll fuel some storms with some high heat. 94 degrees, Storm Watch 7 forecasting, and the threat of some strong, if not severe storms. And we'll be close to that 90-degree mark for Thursday and Friday of this week. The weekend, 86 on Saturday, some storms Sunday, dry.
Back, Amy is going to talk to the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. He's now in charge of the prosecution for the killing of George Floyd.
Your mission: stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms